What up, kaiju friends and fans? Phil the Kaiju King back. Take a quick look at this here fella. Really cool figure of my favorite, pretty much my favorite kaiju villain for Godzilla. It's Gigan. This is the xplus 25 centimeter version. It's roughly 10-inch series tall, 10-inch tall. I want to thank Leslie Chambers for this guy. I got him from him. He did have a split right here where the tail connects to the connection, the base of the tail. There's a split. It was pretty frustrating. Eventually I just glued the tail on to hold everything together, and I think I'm good now. I'm okay with doing that if I have to, but I don't really particularly want to do that, but just thought I would just to secure everything up. It looks pretty good. Can't really hardly tell there was an issue, really, honestly. This is old Gigan, my favorite enemy kaiju in the Godzilla world, closely followed by Mechagodzilla. They're like 1 and 1A. Said that many times. But he first showed up in, 1972, Godzilla versus Gigan. Then he showed up, 2004, Final Wars. Then, 2022 in that short film, CGI film with Godzilla versus Gigan Rex, I believe it was called. I think that's the 3 times, wait a minute, 72, I'm forgetting 73, but Megalon. Showed up in 73 to team with Megalon. Then he showed up in 2004 Final Wars. And then he showed up in 2022 for the CGI short film Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex. And I think that's all the movies he showed up in. If I'm wrong, y'all correct me. I love this kaiju, very unique design, pretty cool. On the old wiki here, it says Gigan is a fictional monster or kaiju that appeared in 1972 film Godzilla vs. Gigan. Gigan is a giant extraterrestrial space monster resembling a species of reptile who was turned into a cyborg by the alien race known as the Nebulans. Gigan sports a huge buzzsaw in its frontal abdominal region, large metallic hooks for hands, and a bird-like beak. Gigan is considered one of Godzilla's most brutal and violent opponents, and the first kaiju in the Toho sci-fi series to make him noticeably bleed. Complex listed the character as number 2 on its The Most 15 Badass Kaiju Monsters of All Time list. Pretty cool. Really cool Gigan here. If anybody else is a Gigan fan, holler at me, let me know in the comments. It's a really cool kaiju, though. If you haven't seen those movies, give yourself a chance to see them. As I said, I had issue with the tail right there. I got a little bit of glue. You can see the glue residue there, but it looks better than it did. It was pretty wide split there. And I went ahead and just glued the tail on for security reasons to seal everything up. So I think I'm good. The Gigan predominantly is the dark greenish color with the gold scales throughout. You can see how his tail goes down and touches and kind of curves up straight back. Got the little spikes on the tail that run from almost the whole tip of the tail all the way up to the back where the fins are. Big spike on the end of the tail, just like in the film. Nice sculpting of the scales there, not too bad. I'll do a comparison with the 30 centimeter 2022. I think he's even more detailed, in my opinion. Of course, the fins are yellow goldish color on his back with silver tip spikes on them. Look pretty good here. Here's his feet. Looks like his hands, really. He's got the old knee pads, kaiju knee pads, yeah, kaiju knee pads. Of course, he's got the gold scales all over the midsection on the bottom of the tail here, part of the bottom of the tail. There's his hooked hands, silver hooked hands. I remember they said that it was hard for the actor to portray Gigan because those things were solid, I think resin or something, and they were super heavy, his hook hands. There's, of course, the saw blade in his midsection, which he used predominantly in the 72 movie. He didn't really use it in the 73 3, I don't think, with Godzilla versus Gigan. But that movie was more focused on Megalon and not Gigan. Getting up to his head here. Looks good. Red visor, mouth slightly open. Teeth inside the mouth, individually sculpted. Big horns on top of his head there. You can see some suit wrinkling in the arms here. The elbow, upper arm area there looks good. Of course, down here on the legs too, some suit wrinkles indicating man in suit here. He really does look pretty good overall. We'll do some quick comparisons with this feller. Let's do that now. All right, everybody, here's the 25 centimeter Godzilla 1964 Bs. They look pretty good together. Gigan slightly taller. He should be. All right, we'll do a few more. Let's do that now. All right, everybody, here's the 74, the Kaiju series Godzilla released earlier this year. One of my contenders for figure of the year. Right now, it's him or the Spiral Studio Shimo. That thing's awesome. And so is this 74. All right, we'll do a couple more. Let's do that now. All right, everybody, here's the 30 centimeter Gigan 2022. Very similar design to the 72, pretty much, predominantly. There's a video of that thing on my archives. It's a really good figure. It was a Godzilla store exclusive. All right, one final comparison here, and we'll do that now. All right, y'all, final comparison. I wanted to do this just to show some hybrid scaling. That is the Spiral Studios Hall of Fame Godzilla Evolved. You can see it's a shade bigger, taller than the Gigan. And it's not a 30 centimeter, but it's not a 25. They're hybrid. Their scaling is hybrid in that line. Then they got some more coming out, Spiral Studios, and they're even more toward the 25 centimeter size. All right, I'll move on to some final thoughts here. Let's do that now. All right, everybody, xplus 25 centimeter Gigan 1972. It's a really cool figure. I'm glad I grabbed it. Thanks Leslie Chambers again for this guy. I had it previous. I had the light up version, but I went ahead and had to sell it last year with my medical, so I was lucky enough to recollect it. It ain't the light up, but I'm cool with that. All right, everybody, I'll close out this video. I want to thank everyone who tunes in. This is Phil the Kaiju King. Y'all have a blessed day. Talk again soon.